What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So a lot of you guys know I review a lot of subwoofers, and a lot of those subwoofers have seen their prices increase over the last year or two. So I'm going to sit here and tell you, if it's still worth it or not, basically. I've got a list in front of me. I've reviewed all of these subwoofers already. If you want to know more about them, there's going to be links in the description below. We also have a Discord server, so feel free to check that out if you want to chat about other stuff. So let's just jump into it. The Emotiva SE8 has seen an increase in price by $30. It's now $329. I still think it's a great subwoofer and a bargain at that price because it's hard to beat unless you go to the used market or somehow find something that's maybe on clearance because it's being discontinued. And we could say the same for the larger SE12 model. That's seen a price increase of $50, bringing it up to $449. It's still a very good subwoofer. It has a clean linear sound. It's a sealed 12 with a passive radiator. And again, for $449, I don't think you could do better unless you go to the used market or somehow find a model that is being deeply discounted because it's maybe being discontinued. So let's talk about the REL HT1205 now. I reviewed that originally at $699. I actually own it. It's now $849. Would I buy it today for that $150 increase? Would I pay $849 for it? After hearing one, I would, yeah, and I'll tell you why. It does one thing very, very good. It can pair well with any speaker, regardless of if it's small, if it's big, if it's warm sounding, if it's cool sounding, if it has a lot of bass, if it only has a little bass. The REL HT1205 is just a team player. It's like, put me in, coach. I'm ready to do my job. It disappears in the room, it integrates perfectly, and all in 10 minutes or less. It doesn't make sense how easy this thing is to set up. It is dummy proof. The reason I still keep mine, because as a reviewer, I can't hold on to all of these subwoofers I review, but I've kept my REL 1205 because every now and then I'll review a speaker and it's just a pain in the butt to get a subwoofer set up with it. And it doesn't even matter which subwoofer I'm using, none of them pair well with it. The speaker's just difficult. I pull out the HT1205 in 5 or 10 minutes or less and we're done. It's really good at that. So for that, I would say it's still worth its price. However, worth mentioning, it is dangerously close now to the REL 1961 1S, and that's not such a good thing. But they are quite different. The REL is more of an analog only design, where the REL 1961 1S uses a DSP, and they have quite a different presentation to them. So anyhow, I digress. Let's talk about the REL T5X. That's seen a price increase of $130. It's now $699. I do think it's still worth it, however, because it is a world-class subwoofer with respect to its sound quality, bass texture, tone, nuanced detail, note-to-note distinction, and those kinds of things. Look, it's not going to have the most SPL nor the most extension, but it is a sound quality first subwoofer, and it does a fantastic job of it. The only caveat or hope I would say is I would love to see a dual discount. Maybe 5 or 10% off, for example. And that's not just for the REL T5X, honestly, that's for any small subwoofer. I feel like one of the benefits of small subwoofers is they're so easy to place in the room, and it would be great if all companies, not just REL, whether it be KEF with the KC62 or Emotiva with the SE8 or REL with the T5X, give the people 5 or 10% off for duals. I think it'd be awesome. So those are the only two REL subs that I've reviewed that have had a price increase. Let's hop over to Rythmik. The Rythmik L12, I reviewed it at $569. It's going up now to $629. Is it still worth it? Would I still buy it today at that price? Absolutely. It was a hidden gem at $569. It's still a hidden gem at $629. Unfortunately, it is only available for US customers. I believe they might ship to Canada occasionally, but it's really just for US customers because they don't ship outside of the country. The Rythmik L12 is simply the finest subwoofer you can buy in the $600 price range. I'll be honest, guys, even if it went up another $100 and was $729, absolutely still worth it. And the main reason it's still worth it is you can't do better for the money. There's nothing that's the same price or less that even comes close to what the L12 can do. The Rythmik L12, killer extension, very impactful bass, killer sound quality, good bass texture. It is a hidden gem in the truest sense of the word. Let's jump over and talk about their more expensive F12 SE. That's a subwoofer I own. I bought it for $1,099 in the gloss finish. That same gloss finish now is $1,259, representing a price increase of $160. Would I still buy it today with the new price that's more expensive? Yes, I would. It's still a very good subwoofer. Like the L12, it extends very low. It has excellent fidelity, excellent note-to-note distinction. It is just outstanding with respect to what it could do on the SPL and extension side, and also what it can do on the sound quality side. It is a jack of all trades subwoofer, and there's nothing wrong. Yeah, it's just absolutely worth its price. Let's hop over to the ported version. Maybe you're putting together a theater, maybe you got a big room, who knows. The FVX12. I have one here. It was $949 when I got it. It's now $1,099. That's a price increase of $150. I think that is still worth it and could even stand to be $100 more expensive. And let me explain why. The Rythmik FVX12 is the best ported subwoofer I've ever heard in my life. Nothing even comes close. Its sound quality is like that of a sealed subwoofer, and it even bests some sealed subwoofers with respect to its sound quality. It plays tight, deep, extends low, has the SPL that a ported sub should have. It is literally a jack of all trades subwoofer, and I consider it also a hidden gem. I consider most Rythmik subwoofers hidden gems because they're only available in the US. The brand isn't as popular as, say, SVS or REL, but if you're in the US, like, you're lucky because you have access to them. Anyhow, let's talk about SVS now, actually. SVS increased their price by $100 for the 1000 Pro, 2000 Pro, Micro 3000, and SB 3000. So I reviewed all four of those. They're all up $100 now. I still think they're worth it. They're pretty technologically advanced. They've all got their DSP, they've all got the cell phone app, they've got a ton of features and setup options and fine-grained controls, and I think that's a selling point for a lot of customers. A $100 price increase across the board isn't too bad. Sure, some of their larger models like the PB16 has gone up a lot, and most of that has to do with shipping costs. Guys, it costs a lot more to ship a pallet today than it used to. Anyhow, with that said, there are a few honorable mentions of models that have not seen a price increase. REL's T7X and T9X have not gone up in price. Emotiva's RS11, a great subwoofer, has not gone up in price. The RSL Speedwoofer 10S has gone up in price, but it was like $28 price increase. Not bad at all. Arundel's 1961 1S and 1723 1S are phenomenal subwoofers that have not had a price increase. They may at some point. I wouldn't be surprised if they did. You know, again, honorable mention for not raising their price. And then KEF has not raised the price of the KC62 either. So I've told you about everything I want to tell you about subwoofers and increased prices and stuff like that. At the end of the day, yeah, they're all still worth it. And part of that is because almost everyone has raised their price. So the playing field is still fairly even, if you will. If only one brand raised their price, then yeah, maybe it wouldn't be worth it. But pretty much everyone's raised their price at this point. It kind of is what it is. I hate to see it. I think we all hate to see it, but what can we do about it? You know what I'm saying? Anyhow, if you have any questions, we have a Discord server now. You can also chat in the comments with me below, leave a comment, whatever. And yeah, that brings us to an end, guys. Until next time, later.